Hola y buenos días. Soy el señor Morris. Soy el maestro de español. ¿Cómo están? ¿Están bien? ¿Más o menos? ¿O mal? Espero que estén muy bien. Today, we'll review all of the things that we've been discussing so far in the unit. And then we'll talk a little about schools in some Spanish-speaking countries and see a video about schools in other places. Do you think that schools in other countries are the same as ours? Do you think that they're different? Pero primero vamos a cantar nuestra canción de saludos. Canten conmigo. Buenos días, ¿cómo está? ¿Cómo está? Muy bien, gracias, muy bien, gracias. ¿Y usted? ¿Y usted? Good morning, how are you? How are you? Very well, I thank you. Very well, I thank you. And you. And you. All right, muy bien. Well, let's go ahead and go over the questions that we've been talking about so far. Okay, now we're almost at the end of this unit, and these things should be getting pretty easy for you now. Okay, so, ¿vas a la escuela? Here you go. A simple one-word answer. Sí. Okay, very good. And this one. ¿En qué año vas? ¿En qué año vas? Can you answer? Well, I tell you what, when I say your grade, you stand up, okay? Voy al kinder. Voy al kinder. If you go to that grade, stand up. Muy bien. Siéntense. How about this one? Voy en primero. Voy en primero. If that's you, go ahead and stand up. Voy en primero. Siéntense. Go ahead and have a seat. How about this one? Voy en segundo. Voy en segundo. Now, if that's you, go ahead and stand up. Are all the second graders standing up? Voy en segundo. Siéntense todos. How about this one? Voy en tercero. Voy en tercero. If that's you, you should be standing up now. If you're in third grade, right? Siéntense todos. How about this one? ¿Cómo se llama tu maestro or maestra? ¿Cómo se llama tu maestro or tu maestra? And you answer, remember this? Se llama, and then you say the name of your teacher, okay? But what if I change the question a little? What if I ask you, ¿cómo se llama tu maestro de español? ¿Cómo se llama tu maestro de español? Okay, now raise your hand if you think that you know the answer to that one. Raise your hand. ¿Cómo se llama tu maestro de español? Did you say, se llama señor Morris? Se llama señor Morris. Did you say that? Because soy el maestro de español. And now, in a lot of schools in Mexico and Spain and Hispanic countries, they'll say, se llama Roberto, because that's my first name. And they'll call their teacher by the first name. It's not a sign of disrespect. They're not trying to be rude. They can say that, and it's okay for them to say that. Okay, now, listen for when I describe you, and then stand up and repeat after me. ¿Listos? Soy una alumna. Soy una alumna. All the girl students should be standing up, and they should repeat, soy una alumna. Okay, siéntense todos, todas. Soy un alumno. Now, if that's you, go ahead and stand up and repeat, soy un alumno. All the boys standing up? Good. Siéntense. Well, we're all familiar with schools here in the United States. Today, I want to take a little time to look at some of the things that you would find in schools in many Spanish-speaking countries. Now, that's certainly something that young people here and young people in Spanish-speaking countries have in common. They go to school. Do you think there are a lot of things that are the same in schools in Spanish-speaking countries as schools here? Sure there are things that are the same. But do you think that everything is exactly the same? Right. There are things that are different too. Let's have a look at some schools, what schools are like in Spanish-speaking countries, okay? Pay special attention because afterwards I'm going to ask you what some of the things that are the same are and what some that are different are. Ahora, presten atención todos.
Escuelas de otros países. If you were to go to a school in a Spanish-speaking country, what would you see? Would everything be the same? Would everything be different? Let's take a look at what you might see in many Spanish-speaking countries were you to visit schools there. This little girl is standing in front of her school. The sign says, Jardín de Niños. Well, that's something that many school systems in Spanish-speaking countries have in common with those in the United States. Many children go to kindergarten. But this little girl is all dressed in white and carrying a rose. Something special must be going on at her kindergarten. Let's see what's happening. Oh, all the other little girls are dressed the same way. The boys are very dressed up too. Some even have on fancy hats. What could be going on here? Is it a party? I wonder why everyone is dancing. Ah, aquí están la directora y la maestra. They're giving the little girl some kind of paper. Es un diploma. Oh, she's graduating from kindergarten. Does the kindergarten where you live have a graduation ceremony? If it does, is it anything like this one? After kindergarten comes this kind of school called la primaria in Spanish. I bet most of you go to this kind of school right now. But I bet your school doesn't look much like this. This school is in a very old building. It was built in a Spanish colonial style. Is this the kind of bell they ring at your school? Aquí hay dos salones. This is a public school. Do the classrooms in your school look anything like this? Aquí está la dirección. Does this look anything like the one in your school? Oh, this is one of my very favorite places at school. Este es el patio de recreo. What is the one at your school like? En esta escuela no hay cafetería. Because the hours for eating in most Spanish-speaking countries are different from the hours people eat in the United States, there is usually not a cafeteria. Many times, students or mothers from the community sell snacks at recess time, though. Try to read the signs. Can you figure out what these two places are in the school? Sí, son los baños. Aquí hay 4 alumnas. What do you notice about these students? Sí, usan uniformes. Do you wear uniforms in your school? In Spanish-speaking countries, even students who go to public schools usually wear uniforms. Sometimes, different schools have different uniforms. Not all schools in Spanish-speaking countries are public, though, and not all of them are in old buildings. Here is a private school in a very modern building. Este es el salón de kinder. Este es el patio de recreo. Aquí está la biblioteca. Este señor es el director. They are celebrating the graduation of the first graders, los de primero. Ya van a ser alumnos de segundo año. They'll be going into second grade now, won't they? This sign says that English classes will be beginning in the afternoons. The English teacher's name is Teacher Elena. Aquí está la maestra con un alumno. Many children in the United States take Spanish classes in school. Almost all students in Spanish-speaking countries take English classes. Oh, this sign says, Felicidades, maestros. In this school in Mexico, they are celebrating Teachers' Day. It's celebrated on the 15th of May, el 15 de mayo. All of the names of the teachers are listed on the bulletin board. Many times, students in Spanish-speaking countries call their teachers by their first names. For example, you would call me Maestra Katy. This is not disrespectful because my title, Maestra, is used first. Oh, now our friend is dressed up again, but in another way. She has on a costume for a Brazilian dance. In many Spanish-speaking countries, the students celebrate a lot of things at school, not just Teachers' Day. Most of the holidays, in fact, are celebrated in some way, and often the parents are invited to the school to watch the students dance. If you were to get a report card in a Spanish-speaking country, it would probably have grades like this: 10, 9, 8. Instead of letters, your grades would be shown in números, or numbers. Maybe someday you will get to visit a school in a Spanish-speaking country to see for yourself. In the meantime, think about what things you saw that were the same as in your school and what things were different. What things did you like? Was there anything you didn't like? Think about it.
Well, that was pretty cool. Did you see a lot of things that were the same as your school? Did you see many things that were different from your school? Let's see. I know that the schools where I worked, they used to have a cafeteria, and I'd always eat lunch there, and I love eating in cafeterias, but they don't have those in a lot of schools that are in other countries. They wear uniforms. We never wore uniforms where I was going to school or teaching. On the other hand, if you saw that report card, you saw that they study a lot of the same things that we do. They study math and science and those kinds of things. And they have teachers that treat them very nicely. Yeah. So there are a lot of things that are the same and many things that are different. Maybe you guys with your class can sit around and see if you can come up with some ideas of what's the same and what's the difference. Right now, I'd like for everyone to get ready, and we're going to go and do that TPR stuff again. Okay? So, teachers, go ahead and arrange your room so that as many people as possible can participate along with us. Ready? Ahora, presten atención y participen todos. Muy bien. Let's go ahead and start off with a review of what we've already done in our TPR lessons. Go ahead and get yourselves ready. ¿Listos? ¿Eh? Párense. Muy bien. Voltéense. 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 Muy bien. How about this one? Brinquen. Remember that? Basta, basta. Siéntense. Párense. Brinquen. Muy bien, basta. Voltéense. Voltéense. Siéntense. Now I'm going to show you a new one. You guys ready? ¿Listos? Párense. Here's the new one. Caminen. Basta. Voltéense. Caminen. Y siéntense. Párense. Caminen. Caminen. Muy bien, basta. Voltéense. Caminen. Caminen. Y siéntense. Yeah. Okay, now here's another new one, and I say this one a lot in the lessons. It's canten. And when I tell you canten, it's la 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 la. Ready? Canten.
La 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 la.
Basta, basta. Ahora, párense. Escuchen. Escuchen. Brinquen y voltéense y canten. Dale.
La la la.
Ay, basta, 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 basta. Siéntense, siéntense. Not only are you going to get dizzy, you're going to get all hoarse trying to do that one. I hope you guys are being able to practice these along with us in your classroom. But that's all we have to do today. Until next time, gracias. Let's all say adios.
Adios.
All right. Boy, students almost got dizzy doing that so much. But you know what? You all are doing a great job. Okay? Saben que ya es hora de despedirnos. Okay, time to say goodbye. Next class will be the review for the unit. Teachers will be playing Loteria next class to help us review. So you may want to make sure that you have enough boards ready for everyone to play along with me here. Okay? Ahora vamos a cantar nuestra canción de despedida. Ahora, canten. Adiós, queridos amigos, que les vaya muy, muy bien. Adiós, queridos amigos, y cuídense también. Okay, good job. Until our next class, adiós y hasta luego.